What's happening, world? I'm your host, the Wizard of Woz, Benji Wozniak, and on this week's episode, we're going to do Wanda Vision and other Marvel titles. So we are now 6 episodes into Wanda Vision, and here's what I think. If you don't read comic books and only saw episode 1, it probably confused you as a viewer. Here's Wanda and Vision living in a black and white sitcom-style setting with no explanation or lead-in. As a comic book reader, I know the story of Wanda, the Scarlet Witch, and her slide into insanity, so it wasn't something that threw me off as a viewer. That said, as a comic book reader, a lot of work's done in the movies and shows have me shaking my head going, no, that's not what happens. Like Ultron being created by Tony Stark in the movies, and in the books he's created by Hank Pym. Also, Quicksilver dying. Pietro Maximoff is a huge character in the comic books and has been a member of the Avengers on several occasions and fought against them on several occasions as well. Now back to Wanda. The first episode of Wanda Vision shows how Wanda wants everything black and white in her world. Simple, basic. Her and Vision living in the perfect home with the perfect neighbors and the perfect town. Wanda actually never experienced any of that in her life, and she's faced nothing but tragedies. When she finds the red helicopter in the bushes, and her world is a dose of reality. As the show progresses, she slowly progresses the timelines from black and white into color. Wanda also realizes that intruders have entered her perfect world, and she's losing control. While this is going on, Vision is also discovering that things aren't as they seem, and even though he can't remember the past, he clearly sees that Wanda is manipulating the situation now and the people of Westview. Now, these people are basically trapped in themselves and are forced to be characters in Wanda's fictional reality. Now, outside of Westview, we know that they are trying to get into the town to free the people from being held hostage and reclaim the body of Vision, which Wanda stole from a secure facility. I do like how they bring back characters from different movies and shows. Like the girl from Two Broke Girls is in this, and she was in Thor. And I think that's really well done, and they've done this in numerous movies. They did bring back Pietro, but it's not actually the character from Ultron, the movie. It's a new character playing Pietro. And they've also had Wanda have 2 children. Now, in the comic books, this is a major event because Wanda takes fragments of Mephisto, a demon, and creates the 2 kids, Tommy and Billy, who later on become Speed and Wiccan in the Young Avengers. Now, this could play into this where they introduce Mephisto as the character that's playing Pietro, which would be a good twist. Now, this storyline is actually in the comics under the House of M, where the superheroes get together and plan on killing Wanda because of the fact that she's brought on all this evil into the world from her mind snapping, which is a great read. With the show, it's going to lead into Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness, which I'm actually looking very fond of, because if they do this correctly, it'll be a great movie. I don't know how many of you know this, but Wanda and Pietro are the children of Magneto. And now that Disney has the rights to the X-Men, this could open the door to a new cast of characters being introduced into the MCU. I've actually been waiting for this for a long time. When I was in high school, me and my best friend Leland Wilson used to walk to the comic book shop under the bridge in Central Square Lynn to get comics. And we did this on our lunch break. For me, comic books introduced a lot of stuff that has been talked about now, back then. Like they talked about racial injustice, alternative lifestyles, domestic violence. A lot of stuff that was taboo, that wasn't talked about, was in comic books. Like Hank Pym actually thrown out of the Avengers for domestic abuse on the Wasp. Now I know Marvel Cinematic Universe is not going to deal with anything like that. But it is good that they're dealing with some kind of mental illness issues, which affect a lot of people today. I mean, granted, it's probably not going to be anything dramatic, but at least they're addressing it. And I think that a lot of the stuff could bring awareness to severe issues that we face as a society today. Now, as I stated, I used to walk with my friend Leland Wilson to the comic book shop. He is a huge Spider-Man fan, and I am a large Avengers fan. And when we used to walk, we'd have topics, discussions about the different things in the Marvel Universe. And one of the things we talked about was how there wasn't really any cool black character for the black youth to rally around. I mean, there was Power Man, the Black Panther, Storm, Cloak. I mean, it wasn't anybody spectacular, like the white people had, like, Superman, Batman. And it was kind of amazing for me to see the Black Panther become like the focal point and like the rallier behind black youth to get them to look at this and be like, yes, this, we can have a hero. And I thought that was amazing, because this is stuff we talked about back in the 80s walking to school. So that was kind of phenomenal. And we did both agree that Storm is probably the most powerful out of them all, and she's badass. What's devastating to me is that, Chadwick Boseman died, and he had just got the Black Panther world known, and he did a phenomenal job, and he was such a gracious person, and I absolutely loved watching the Black Panther and the Avenger movies with him in it. True class, and I don't know how they're going to replace him. I've heard rumors that they were going to have the sister take over the mantle, or maybe someone else, but it's going to be hard to replace that man, because he was an icon. I guess, from what I'm hearing, that in Black Panther 2, they're going to introduce Namor, the Submariner, and that is awesome for me, because I absolutely love Namor. As a villain and as a hero, I think that he is a great character. He's the ruler of Atlantis, the Marvel version compared to the DC. So I'm interested to see how this plays out. There's a whole bunch of new Marvel movies coming out. One of the ones I'm looking forward to seeing is The Black Widow, which will introduce one of my favorite villains, the Taskmaster. And then there's Thor: Love and Thunder, which is coming out soon. That's going to be another movie, continuing the saga of Thor. Well, then there's Deadpool 3, which Disney actually gave the okay to have an R rating, which I think is great, because you can't tone down Deadpool. He's just too awesome. And I think this could also, again, open the door to the X-Men being introduced into the MCU universe, which is something to look forward to. And I think as a fan, as a comic book fan, I'm looking forward to this. And if you are just coming into the Marvel universe, this is something you could look forward to as well. Then there's the Avengers. They already said that they're still going to make Avenger movies, so what's the new team's going to look like? Then they're supposed to be bringing in the Young Avengers, so that's something to look forward to. Then Moon Knight is coming out, Morbius. There's a whole bunch of different shows that are going to be released. The Winter Soldier and the Falcon. So this is going to be a really good couple of years for the Marvel Universe. I'd like to see what they do with the Fantastic Four, and then the shows that are on Netflix, can they be brought back? Iron Fist, Power Man, the Defenders. I'd like to see those maybe brought back into the fold with the Punisher. But if you're going to do the Defenders, I would hope that you do it right and have, Doctor Strange be the founder of the Defenders like he was in the comic books. That would be a good thing for them. That's just about it for now. I'd like to thank you all for listening to What's Happening, and please tune in next week.